Welcome to Miss K Movie Recap. Hi, it's me, Miss K Movie Recap. Now I'll show you a Canadian psychological horror drama film from 2018 called Look Away. Spoilers are coming. Watch out and be careful.
What are you doing?
I'm sorry.
I'm not.
I want out!
And they learned that.
But wait, before we continue, if you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you can support this channel by subscribing to help this channel get monetized. It may be simple for you, but for us, it's very valuable, so thank you so much for your support. In the first scene of this movie, with a 17-year-old Maria Brennan preparing for school, she lives with her parents Dan and Amy in a luxurious home, but life appears to be difficult for her. Because of her timid nature, Maria is an outcast at school and she is often bullied by a guy named Mark. On the contrary, her only friend, Lily, is a confident figure skater and has a boyfriend named Sean. At times, Maria finds herself jealous of her friend. Maria's parents also worry about her aloofness, and they have tried to convince her to go to the upcoming school prom many times but without success. In contrast to most stereotypical overprotective father, Maria's father is only concerned about her looks and social status. He actually thinks that she is screwed up because of her disinterest in boys or any social activities. Maria is aware about her parents' worries, and one day, she sneaks into their room and tries to put on her mother's makeup. However, she suddenly stopped when he noticed something protruding from the side of the mirror. To her surprise, it's a strange sonogram image of twins. In the middle of the night, Maria is in the bathroom, when suddenly, her reflection in the mirror stares back at her, causing her to lose her balance and fall. She quickly gets up and clears the steam from the mirror, gradually revealing her reflection. To Maria's utter shock, the reflection continues to move, prompting her to run away in horror. The following day, Maria tries to tell her parents about the incident, but as expected, they brush her concerns aside. Later at school, Maria is once again bullied by Mark as he trips her and makes her fall to the ground. Everyone only laughs at her, but surprisingly, Sean appears out of nowhere and helps her up. He even shoves Mark and warns him to stay away from her. This act of kindness excites Maria as no one has ever stood up for her before. After school, she takes a relaxing bath, remembering her earlier encounter with Sean, but she is soon troubled by the sound of a baby's cries. The images of Maria's own birth flash in her mind and disturb her peace. Afterwards, she finds it difficult to fall asleep. Suddenly, a voice calls out her name, prompting her to investigate. Lo and behold, it is revealed to be her own reflection in the mirror. Maria is initially scared, but she soon works up the courage to speak to her. The reflection calls herself Iram and claims that she is Maria's complete opposite, confident, charismatic, and dominant. The two then chat for a while and discuss their likes and dislikes. As they become friends, Iram offers to assist Maria overcome her problems and become more confident. The next day, Maria surprises her parents by announcing that she wants to go to the prom. Moreover, later at school, she expresses interest in learning how to skate for winter prom. That evening, Maria goes to her father's clinic to spend some time with him. As she watches him get close to a female client, she suspects that he is having an affair. On the way back home, Dan asks her to visit him at the clinic tomorrow for an early birthday present. When Maria shares this with her reflection that night, she is told that her father is a bad person who only cares about himself. Maria obviously doesn't buy this, so she defends her dad, saying that he is planning to gift her a car. However, the next day, Dan surprises Maria with a cosmetic procedure instead. He tells her that he wants to fix her unusually large ears and nose. This emotionally wrecks the teenager, and she finally realizes that Dan hates her imperfections. In the next scene, Iram comforts Maria and tells her that they can teach their dad a lesson. She also points out that Amy is weak for putting up with Dan's toxicity. As the conversion drags on, Maria feels better and the two girls share a laugh. This attracts Amy's attention and she asks Maria who she was talking to. When the latter isn't able to give her a satisfactory answer, Amy begins to wonder if she is taking narcotics. Later, Amy shares her concerns with Dan, but he completely ignores the matter. Instead, he gives her some sleeping pills, applies a beauty cream on her face, and then puts her to bed. Before dozing off, Amy mentions that her nightmares have returned, but he assures her that they will go away like they always do. The following day, Maria and Lily go to practice ice skating. Since our protagonist girl has never stepped foot on ice before, she easily slips and falls to the ground. However, instead of helping her up, Lily rudely tells her to stay away from Sean. Dejected that her only friend has started disliking her, Maria returns home and confides in Iram. The latter comforts her for a while, and then explains how Lily is a bad influence. The only thing she cares about is her popularity. Iram asserts she is Maria's sole friend and the only one who can alleviate her pain. To achieve this, she proposes that Maria switch places with her, surrendering control of her life. The confused teenager almost gives in and prepares to touch her reflection, but right then, Amy arrives and tells her that she is getting late for prom. Startled, Maria quickly puts on the prom dress and rushes to school. Unfortunately, this turns out to be a bad decision as she is overwhelmed by the bustling crowd, dazzling lights, and booming music. Fearing the possibility of falling, Maria finds it difficult to let go. She prepares to leave, but Sean approaches her at the last second and extends his hand, offering support. Maria happily accepts, and so the two make their way to the center of the rink and start dancing in each other's arms. Lily, who is nearby, watches all this go down and becomes envious. So, she deliberately startles Maria, making her lose balance and fall to the ground. Sean tries to assist her, but Lily intervenes, preventing him from doing so. To make matters worse, the bully, Mark, arrives at the scene and starts pulling Maria across the rink. All the students simply watch her scream and plead for help, completely disregarding how she is feeling. When Mark finally stops, Maria runs away from the premises, embarrassed. This proves to be the final straw for her, so she ultimately decides to let Iram take control over her life. They touch hands and lips, initiating the transformation process. Once everything is done, Maria is the one behind the mirror while Iram is free to go anywhere she wants. Meanwhile, in the adjacent room, Amy is having a nightmare about the day she gave birth to Maria. In the dream, she is screaming in excruciating pain. The next day, Iram goes to school and encounters Mark in the hallway. She confidently walks up to him, grabs his crotch, and licks his ear before walking away, leaving him speechless. Soon, Lily approaches her and tries to fake concern, but Iram sees right through her. Nevertheless, she continues to be friendly with Lily and asks her to teach her how to skate again at the rink. Later, Iram goes to her father's clinic. There, she distracts the receptionist and steals the number of Dan's mistress. She then arranges for the mistress and Amy to come to the clinic at the same time. Iram's plan works and Amy encounters the mistress in the elevator. She is heartbroken when she realizes that her husband is cheating on her. And then where several students have come to practice. In the meantime, Iram meets Mark and lures him into the washroom. Once there, she suddenly strikes him in the knee with a hockey stick, causing it to dislocate. Mark collapses on the ground and screams in agony. He pleads for help, but Iram leaves him by himself to suffer. Soon, everyone heads home, but Iram stays back with Lily to practice skating. She surprisingly changes her demeanor and starts skating like a pro, much to her friends' surprise. Then, a sense of determination takes over Iram and she begins chasing Lily with a deadly look in her eyes. Scared, Lily tries to get away from her but ends up stumbling and hitting her head on the hard cement. She profusely bleeds, but Iram only watches her slowly succumb to her injuries. After a while, Iram calls the authorities and informs them about Lily's accident, while pretending to be scared and worried for her friend. In the phone's reflection, the real Maria is seen crying. Later, Iram returns home and a detective arrives to interrogate her, but Amy convinces him to return at another time. In the bathroom, Maria confronts her about the murder, but Iram menacingly says that Lily deserved it. Hearing this, Maria becomes scared and expresses her desire to exchange positions again, but Iram refuses, saying that she is not done yet. The scene then cuts to Lily's funeral. There, the detective offers his condolences to Sean and makes eye contact with Iram. This makes the latter uncomfortable and she proceeds to leave. However, Sean stops and embraces her. Later that night, Iram sneaks out of her house to visit Sean. He takes her to his room and offers her a joint. As they discuss their lives, Iram positions herself in front of Sean and looks into his eyes. She then reveals that she has been fantasizing about him and begins touching him down below. Sean tries to stop her at first, but soon, he eventually gives in and the two make love. The following day, Iram goes on a dinner date with her father. Dan is worried about her well-being after Lily's passing, but Iram is entirely unaffected by the incident. It's also revealed that after his affair has been exposed, Dan has been avoiding going home. Iram questions him about his plans to reconcile with Amy and he assures her that he will soon make things go back to normal. Iram then starts acting strange, eating loudly and unladylike. This gets to Dan's head and so he chastises her to sit properly. Iram reluctantly obliges, but her resentment towards Dan only continues to grow. Over the course of the next few days, Iram continues to avoid school, convincing Sean to bunk classes with her. One day, they check into a motel to make love. However, Sean gets a call from his mother, informing him that the police want to interrogate them. Worried, he plans to leave, but Iram refuses to go. She then tries to tempt Sean with kisses, but this only makes him suspicious and he asks why she's avoiding the police. Realizing that she has been exposed, Iram grabs a bottle and hits him on the head with it. Unfortunately, he passes away within a few minutes. After this, Iram goes to the bathroom and sees a hysterical Maria crying her eyes out. The two then get close and comfort each other. Meanwhile, back at home, Amy experiences another nightmare. In her dream, we see that Maria had a deformed twin sister and Dan believed it was futile to let the baby live, so he made the decision to euthanize her. It turns out Iram is actually Maria's deceased twin sister. Back in reality, Iram shows up at Dan's clinic and rings the doorbell. She stands weakly at the door, unable to support herself. Dan carries her to the operating table and fetches a glass of water for her. But to his surprise, she begins taking off her clothes. Enraged, he demands that she put her clothes back on, but Iram begins to remove the rest of her garments. She then questions her father if he finds her beautiful. Dan reluctantly says that she is beautiful, but then she inquires if he would still love her even if she had deformities. Once again, Dan replies in the affirmative, saying that he would love her unconditionally, regardless of any imperfections. However, Iram doesn't believe him and swiftly slashes his throat with a sharp object. After he bleeds to death, an angry Iram questions why he couldn't love her in the past. Afterwards, she calls out for Maria but doesn't get a response. So, she returns home and lies next to a dazed Amy. The final scene concludes with shimmering reflections and a depiction of Amy embracing both her daughters in her arms. This indicates that Iram and Maria have turned into a single person. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more videos, please like, subscribe, and click that notification bell to get notified of our latest uploads.